Welcome to the Heart of Fauquier podcast. Today we have two very special guests from here in Old Town. So we have Dan Mudge and Chris Bauer. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So they own Modal Music Studios down on Main Street here in Warrenton, and they just opened a few years ago now, and have seen some really good success. Have won some great awards. And I'm excited to have you guys here. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course. And so, first of all, when did you guys start the studio now? How long have you been open?
We started in 2020. We launched officially in July of 2020, and then we were virtual for the first 4 months, and then we got into our location on Main Street late October that year.
Okay, very cool. And you guys do lessons, or what all do you have available at the studio?
Lessons is our big focal point. It's what we mostly focus on. It's what we're best at. But we also do some limited instrument sales. We're a dealer for a brand named Soundsmith. They make ukuleles, guitars,
String joy strings,
different accessories. We're a dealer for string joy strings as well. They're hand wound strings made in Tennessee, so nice USA made product. And then we offer some limited recording services and repair services as well. Like your basic repairs, setups, restrings, basic adjustments and stuff like that. And then, like I said, basic limited recording, like audio recording services as well. It's kind of as we get time for it kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like people can rent out the studio part to do recordings, is that how it is? Or you guys use it for your own performance stuff?
kind of both. I mean, we've recorded our own stuff there before, but we've had our students come in and record some stuff. Like maybe they've written a song, they come in and they can record that. We've had outside clients, mostly like the singer-songwriter kind of type, which actually is what kind of works best with our space. We don't have a big giant room, so it's harder to accommodate drums, although we have done that. And yeah, we call it semi-professional?
Yeah, halfway. Better than you can do at home, but not as good as you're gonna get at like a real studio.
Yeah.
Studio.
So like startup people just getting into it, it's a great
it's
place
like
for them to get
because
into it.
we're not charging too much. We charge $60 an hour. So it's just something it's to get you off the ground. If you need like recordings to send to like booking agents or recordings to just put on your website to just have something.
Right.
That's kind of what we do. But if you're like an established band, then maybe not the thing for you.
Okay. Very cool. So you said 2020, at the end of 2020 is when you opened on Main Street. What made you want to make a jump into a new business when the world was going so crazy?
Well, it's kind of a funny story. So Chris and I were actually working together teaching music at another place in town.
Okay.
And a situation arose where we couldn't continue to work there. We tried to work things out, but we were basically told to get lost. So we did. And we went and we formed our own place, and the Main Street location just kind of fell in our lap.
Okay.
Our landlord was one of my students, and he had a tenant who was leaving, offered it to us, and we jumped at the opportunity because it's just to be on Main Street is great, but the place is like perfect for us because it already had like several rooms already made that were offices before, but they were fantastic as teaching rooms. And I've been teaching a really long time. I've been teaching at a lot of different places, and usually you have a really, really tiny room, maybe like a third the size or a fourth the size of this room here.
Oh wow.
But now our rooms are like bigger than this room.
Okay.
And just for one or sometimes group lessons, but usually like one-on-one lessons, it's a lot nicer.
Yeah, it's like a more comfortable experience because you're not like literally in a shoe closet or coat closet. You're like in a real room, and it's just like
more comfortable.
Yeah, it's got like a more homey kind of vibe to it, where like the student can come in and feel like they're somewhere they're meant to be, and not just a room.
Yeah. cool. And especially if it's new for people, it's kind of uncomfortable to start learning anyway. So it's more welcoming for them, I would think. So
yeah, they have more space. Like, you know, when you're nervous about your first lesson and then you're trapped in a little closet with someone who's a stranger, like that can, like, I guess, intensify the anxiety a little bit.
Sure.
But with big, open, welcoming space, it's definitely a lot nicer for us and for our students.
Okay, yeah. So the timing was perfect to get that space right when you needed it. So
yeah,
exactly.
And then you were saying you started with virtual lessons even, so that's thinking outside the box. And then now pretty much everything's in person all the time. It seems, at least. Do you still have people at a distance?
Like 97.3.
Okay, there's a couple of people that still want it.
Yeah, because for some people it's just convenient. I mean, like they don't.
Right.
Some people it worked better for them, honestly, because you know it depends on the student. Some of them really struggled with virtual lessons, and other ones like really did better than they did in person for whatever reason. So some people just kind of stuck with it, but the hefty majority wanted to like come back in person as soon as possible.
Okay.
Because I think that works better for the majority of people. It's so much easier to just like
see exactly
that
what you're doing
with someone than like, hey, move your hand 6 inches to the left and put it on your leg. Right, I just pick them up and move them.
Yep.
So it's a better experience in person for sure. But
cool. And then I mentioned and you mentioned that you guys have won some awards as well already with different publications in the area. What kind of stuff have you been recognized for?
The Fauquier Times Reader's Choice. We've now won the 4th one in a row.
Wow.
We just found out last week, I think they announced. And there's another one. I don't think we're allowed to announce it yet, so stay tuned.
But maybe you've won it in the past?
No, it's they hadn't offered this category before.
Never eligible in the past.
But now they have it, and we won.
Okay, so we'll see where that
coming
may
soon.
Not come from, possibly in the future. Okay, cool. And then you already mentioned what kind of instruments you guys teach. So what did you guys learn on when you were growing up and learning music and playing?
I started with piano originally.
Okay.
But then my uncle just gave me this guitar that he couldn't sell to any of his friends, but it was a piece of junk. And I grabbed that and I never looked back. And then I took guitar lessons for a really long time.
Okay. How old were you when you started playing?
I was 9 when I started piano and 12 when I got the guitar.
Okay. What about you, Chris?
Yeah, so I technically started with the drums when I was like, I don't even know, in 3rd grade. My parents wanted to put me in some kind of music lesson. And I wanted to play the drums, but they wouldn't buy me a drum set, and I thought it was stupid, so I quit. So then that next year in the 4th grade, my elementary school made us pick an instrument and made us play it in the 4th and the 5th grade. And then once you get to middle school, you can make the choice for yourself, but you had to play in elementary school.
Okay.
And so I ended up with the violin in the 4th grade, and I stuck with it really ever since then. All throughout middle school, high school, college even. And then throughout the process, I picked up guitar pretty early, like in the 7th grade-ish. And then somewhere along the line, piano, and I started singing too. So yeah, it's kind of all I did was music stuff, so growing up.
Yeah, and that's quite a variety, you know, like some people will pick up one instrument, maybe two, like the piano and guitar or whatever it might be, and those are what they kind of stick to. But that's a lot more variety than that.
Yeah, I'm competitive, so like I like to try more things and like get better at more things.
Yeah. So do you still like to pick up the violin and play?
Not as much anymore. I think it's definitely kind of faded out a little bit in terms of like what I play for enjoyment sake. And especially when I play like professionally, like I don't really play violin out. It's really just for me at this point. Because I've played in orchestras, like I said, throughout really my whole life.
Yeah.
But nowadays it's a lot more like we go out and perform a lot more like duo style with guitars and singing and stuff like that. So nowadays it's definitely more of the focus on that style.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so what kind of bands have you been involved in? Have you guys played together a lot or always together, or have you?
Well, we've been performing as Modal, I I guess for a couple of years now, because we do the farmers markets here in Warrenton.
Okay.
And actually this year we're set up with them where we play basically like every other week, like twice a month. We've got our tent set up and we perform, and we have our students come and they can perform too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's a great outlet for them
Yeah.
because we don't have a performance space of our own. So it's a good way that we can kind of have a recital-ish kind of thing, but not actually have a big recital because we don't have a place.
Right.
And then he and I played in another band before, and then we've just had like a lot of our own projects. I mean, I've lost count of how many bands and projects I've either started myself or been hired to be in, and
Okay.
yeah,
Cool. Stuff with traveling as well.
yeah. I've gone on the road quite a bit. Not so much lately.
Yeah.
It's not as fun now. I'm in my late 30s, and it was definitely a lot more fun in my teens and my 20s.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And now you're a family man.
Yeah. So it's also I gotta be making some good money to make it worth my while to leave everybody home.
Right. Absolutely. Cool. And how long have you guys known each other then? If you've played together, like, did you play? Have you played together for a long time, or did you meet when you started doing lessons together?
Yeah, we met when I started at the same place that he was at.
Okay.
And we just kind of met through that.
What year was that?
I have no clue. I'm sitting here trying to think about it. It was
2018?
It was at least 3 years. It might have been 2017.
Well,
When did I graduate?
it was 2019 when we started playing in. I started a comedy group and recruited Chris for that. That was 2019.
Yeah.
But we'd already known each other for
I
a
think
year or
it
two.
might have been 2017 then.
Okay.
That sounds
Something like that. We're not good with time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like real time. Music time, I think we understand that. But
4 and 5 and 6 and 12 sometimes.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Cool. Yeah, you mentioned comedy. So I saw something about comedy rock. So when you say that, is it kind of like, presidents of the United States bowling for soup kind of stuff, or is it like Weird Al kind of stuff, or am I totally off base? What do you mean by comedy?
You're actually kind of right on. So It is a lot like Weird Al, Tenacious D, Monty Python, Flight of the Conchords, Garfunkel and Oates, like musical comedy. So it's like songs, but the lyrics are jokes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although I'm a huge Presidents fan, so like there's definitely an element of some of like their kind of quirkiness in there too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Cool. What other kind of styles have you performed professionally? Or just, the two of you guys representing Modal and everything?
Yeah,
well,
in terms of what we do with Modal, it's mostly just like hits, pop stuff,
Okay.
Pops for throughout the decades though. I mean, we go as far back as
the 50s,
like 50s, 60s, and then all the way through like literally like a couple days ago, or
Yeah.
So, but it's mostly that kind of style.
Okay.
I like to throw in some pop punk kind of like emo stuff that I used to listen to when I was a kid. Little throwback stuff like that. So I like to sprinkle in some little Chris songs in there sometimes, but it's mostly like pop hits and stuff like that.
I'm getting to agree to a couple Beatles songs now and then.
I love the Beatles. They're my absolute favorite band.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask. I was gonna say, who are some of your favorite bands?
Not the Beatles.
So he's forced you into doing that. It sounded like, but
actually, he recommended one Beatles song on his own. But I'm the Beatles guy.
Okay.
You walk into my teaching room and you'll see Beatles kind of everywhere. I even have a Lego Yellow Submarine set sitting there right behind my teaching chair. So
nice inspiration.
Yeah, well, it's very recognizable. The kids recognize it right away, but then they want to play with it. And so then it's like, oh no, hold on.
Yeah.
We gotta not, fly around the room, but.
Cool. So what kind of styles do you guys teach? Do you teach
everything?
Variety, everything?
We will teach everything.
Absolutely.
Whatever the student wants to learn, we'll teach it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And that ties back to just being a well-versed musician. I mean, I think any competent musician should be able to do that and be able to, at least play something in the country style, something in like a jazz style, something in funk style, something blues, something rock and roll, something metal. I mean, you should be well-versed because that's how you become a better musician. So yeah, it's not just like, what am I trying to say? I try to make my students learn everything, like things that they wouldn't want to learn anyway.
At least touch on it,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys have a workshop coming up. Could you guys talk about that?
Yeah, so one of our instructors, Sally May, and also a really good friend of mine, Kai Abernathy, have teamed up, and we're going to sponsor a course that they're teaching. It's Seasons of Song Workshop. So it's a songwriting workshop. It's going to take place at our studio on Main Street. There's actually some sponsorships available.
Okay.
So Kai was able to get, there's an association, Rappahannock, called RAC. So she was able to get some grant money from them to provide some scholarships. So I believe there's still a couple available.
Okay.
So anybody can contact us or contact them to see about getting, or see if they qualify for a sponsorship. But it's a 2-day thing. It's the last day of September, first day of October. And the goal is to come in and write a song, and then they can try to record a little bit of their song. They don't have to write a whole song or anything, and maybe they do, maybe they don't. But the goal is to learn about songwriting, to develop skills for songwriting, confidence for songwriting, and hopefully walk away with something that they have written.
Okay. Awesome. Just to give people that kickstart if they've never done it before kind of thing. Is that?
Yeah, it's a Kickstart if you've never done it. It's a refresher if you've been doing it but feel you've lost touch, or maybe some people have been trying it but they don't know how to finish a song.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just be nice to have like a different perspective or like a different outlook.
Yeah.
Or just guidance just to get through, because sometimes it's tricky.
Yeah, sometimes you're at home alone trying to figure it out and you're like frustrated, and then just having someone else to look at it with you, right?
Yeah, because
a fresh set of eyes.
Yeah, and inspirations can sometimes get you up and going, but you can't just rely on inspiration. You also have to work at finishing some songs. So I think the trouble that a lot of people, and I work on this with my students, and so does Chris, like you can use inspiration, but if you rely solely on it, you only get so far, because it can leave you as fast as it came to you. So there's a lot of tools you can use to help finish a song, like just knowledge to have, to like, oh, okay, like if I'm playing these chords, then these other chords could work really well. Or if I'm playing these chords, then these notes could work well for a melody. Or if I'm struggling with the flow or the rhythm of it, these rhythms and these approaches to sections of the song, like, what a verse is, a pre-chorus is, a chorus is, do I need all those things? All that kind of stuff. Like knowing about it can really help you to put together a very cohesive song.
Okay, awesome. And so who all will be at the workshop teaching and stuff? Will it be you guys or Sally Mae that you mentioned, or all of you guys?
Yeah, it'll be Kaya and Sally Mae.
Okay.
I'll probably be in and around, because gotta open the doors, but
yeah. So it's right there at the studio.
It's gonna be at the studio, but it is their workshop.
Okay.
So we're sponsoring it, but they have put together the whole platform. They've put together the itinerary and the curriculum and everything.
Awesome. And then they work with you as instructors already. How much of a team do you guys have with instructors and everybody at the studio?
Yeah, so right now it's me and Dan, but we also have 3 other instructors as well. Sally Mae, that we just mentioned, Haley Wilson, and Marty Taglieri as well, who teach guitar, voice, piano, and violin, piano, respectively. I think I got that in the right order.
Okay.
Well, Sally Mae also does uke. Haley can also do a little guitar.
That's true.
And Marty can also do viola.
That is true.
Okay.
And we're trying to get him to do cello as well.
Oh, so he can play, but you're just
we don't have a cello.
We
don't have a cello at the studio though.
So okay. So someone will have to bring their own, and you'd have to, I guess, have an instructor bring one or something.
Yeah.
Figure that one out. But
okay.
One day I want a cello anyway. So one day.
There you go.
I might even get one, but.
Okay. Can you play already, or?
Cello?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So you want to get one and learn it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the left hand technique, as a right-handed string player, my left hand technique is okay. Like my fingers know how to move around.
Yeah.
I know how to like move through intervals, but it's the bow technique that I have like zero skill at. So that's where I'd really need to learn.
Okay. Can Chris play the
Nope.
cello? Okay.
Not at all.
So even though you can play violin, it's it's different enough. That...
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, it's like I could probably fake it. Like, but yeah, it's just like like kind of back to the intervals, like the string, like the finger space is just different. The bow holds different, like because violin's up like this, cello's down here like this, so it's different enough where like the muscle memory doesn't really work and translate over. Okay. So that's why we would have like another instructor for something like that.
Cool. Anytime I think of the cello, I just think of School of Rock with Jack Black, and he's like, cello. He turns it sideways. I don't know. It always makes me laugh, but fun stuff. So kind of going back to with lessons. So if someone wants to get started with you, what's kind of the process? Like they just kind of give you a call or they walk in. What's kind of the process you take them through to get started?
Most actually send us an email, and we have a submission form on our website. A lot of people will just fill that out, and then we get the email from that. But yeah, people do call, people do walk in. Another benefit of being up on Main Street, we do have a lot of foot traffic, so people will stop in. But yeah, they contact us one way, and they say what they're interested in learning, and usually the first question we ask them is when they're available, because sometimes that'll depend on what instructor. So if multiple instructors can teach, like piano, for example, some instructors may have availability on the same day that the student has availability, so we pair them. Although sometimes they have like a specific goal. Like for example, if someone walks in the door and they want to learn Beatles songs, well, odds are they're going to go with me because I'm the Beatles almanac.
Yeah.
But in general, we do try to accommodate the students and their schedule and what they have, with also what they're trying to learn.
Okay, very cool. And then is it like weekly or bi-weekly lessons, or they can kind of, you just work around their schedule? How does that usually work?
It's mostly like 1 30-minute lesson, but like the same scheduled time each week is pretty standard. Some people do maybe an hour lesson once a week. Some people may do an hour lesson every other week, or a 30-minute lesson every other week. Some people do 2 30-minute lessons a week. We're flexible. We kind of work with whatever you want at the end of the day.
Depends on their goals and
whatever your goals are. If you're a beginner, you don't really need an hour lesson once a week because it's just kind of going to be a waste of time. But if you're a more seasoned player that's trying to really like hone your skills or trying to learn more about like songwriting or music theory or something like that, then maybe like the more regular and longer sessions are more valuable. So as you can take more out of it and learn more. But everything's done in half an hour increments. So whatever the student wants, based around those building blocks. Okay,
cool. And you guys teach, from never seen a guitar before to advanced and everything in between. Mm-hmm. And then all ages as well.
Yep. Yeah. 6 to 600.
Yeah, okay. 600. I like it. They can include everyone for sure. Mm-hmm. So, and it's cool because I saw online that you guys, even have people like in their 70s and whatnot, like coming in, never played before, and now's their time, and so you work with them. Mm-hmm. What's kind of your encouragement or whatever to people who aren't 9, 15 start? I feel like so many people think you have to be like middle school, high school, and then you start and you know forever. And if you're in your 20s or later, you missed it, Yeah, have you run into those excuses?
People will say that, but the answer is always, it comes down to practice. If you put the work into it, it doesn't matter who you are or how old you are, you can make progress. Yeah. If you just have to, this is where we say all the time, practice. My students say I should have it tattooed on my head. Because it comes down, it doesn't matter how much talent you may walk in the door with. Doesn't matter, again, what kind of music you like or whatever. None of it doesn't matter instrument. It's all about the practice. If you play your instrument every single day, you will make progress. And obviously, the more you put into it, the faster you might reach your particular goal, if you have a goal. But yeah, it's all about practice. And pretty much universally, the students who practice are the students who achieve. And the students who don't practice are the students who don't.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. So what's kind of your vision for what Modal Music is right now for the community, and then what kind of things you want to be doing in the future? I know you've already talked about, you're adding new instructors, maybe you want to add the cello, that kind of stuff. Like, are there any details of kind of what your vision is for the studio?
World domination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much just that.
Yeah.
I mean, what else is there?
But I mean, we do want to continue to grow. We've grown a lot since we started, and we just want to continue. I mean, would love to be able to eventually have a way to teach any instrument that anybody would want to learn. But I guess that's more of a long-term goal. But I mean, we're trying to be very active in the community. Like for example, like we participate when they do the organized, like the Wizard Walk. We participate in that right now. The Where's Waldo thing is going on, and we participate in that.
The fall festivals,
and just being at like the farmers market. We really want to just share music with the community.
Yeah.
Like we want to be a source of where people can not only just come to learn, but also we talking about how we go and perform. We want to be able to entertain people and just share music with and help our students to share their music with just everyone around.
Okay, very cool, awesome. Do you have any last things that we didn't touch on that you guys want to touch on?
I'll just reiterate: practice every day.
Mm-hmm. Did you practice today?
Yeah.
Today.
Well, we've gone over pretty much.
Okay.
Our business isn't complex.
Yeah.
It's music lessons, with a few things like Chris mentioned. We do sell a little bit of stuff. I actually do really love the string joy strings that we sell.
Mm-hmm.
I have gotten hooked on those. Pretty much all my guitars are now converted over. But I mean, I know as we go, I mean, both Chris and I always pick up more instruments as we go. So I know we're both going to grow as teachers, but we also want to, we like to, when we consider like new teachers or whatever, we're very much open to the first time teacher because we want to give them an opportunity and help them to like learn how to teach and give them, of course they have to be qualified enough to do it. It does take the right personality to teach because you do need patience.
A lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you've been doing it forever, and then you see someone that's fumbling around and they just can't get it, and to have the patience when it's like, just do it.
Not so much for, well, that's not so much for me. I think I can sit there and watch someone not be good at guitar all day, and it doesn't bug me at all.
Yeah.
Just some, particularly like working with children, sometimes can be very difficult from a non-musical perspective.
Just attention spans sometimes are tough, or sometimes particularly with kids, and because we everybody has a bad day, but as adults we have learned how to usually we've learned how to cover it up. But kids don't have that skill set, so sometimes a kid comes in and they're just having a rough day, and you just gotta kind of like give them the opportunity to kind of like work through it. I actually a funny thing about being a music teacher is you end up becoming like a therapist to most of your students, because you are someone that they can talk to.
Yeah.
So interesting thing about the music lesson is when you come into a music lesson, generally you are not able to do the thing you're there to do.
Right.
And because you're there to learn how to do it. So you are struggling in front of another person. And that is a very vulnerable experience. Most people don't like to have someone watch them fail at something and have a hard time or get frustrated or upset about something. And so that vulnerability actually leads to a really good connection between teacher and student. And so, especially for a lot of like kids and teenagers, although also with adults, like you become someone that they can confide in and talk to. And so I'll have kids that have come in and talk to me about being bullied at school, or maybe their parents are going through a divorce and they don't know how they feel about it. I've had adult students go through a divorce before and want to talk about it in lessons. So I forgot why I brought this up, but it's just a really cool part about being a teacher and a cool part about the connection that we have with our students.
Yeah.
Which is also why we've had so much support since we started. The community was really welcoming when we, the first person who came in our door when we opened the Main Street location, they came in and said, I'm really happy you guys are here. They weren't signing up for lessons. They just came in like, we're really happy you're here.
That's awesome.
And I said thanks, and then they just went on their way. But we've had a lot of support from our families because it's like one big modal family.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, thank you guys so much for coming and sharing your story and what you guys offer.
Yeah, thank you.
So definitely connect with them so they can connect by looking you up on your website, sending an email, following you on social media. Are you on Instagram, Facebook?
Yeah,
Instagram,
Facebook, YouTube. That's it.
Okay, cool. The big three.
Yeah, we haven't started TikTok yet. Sorry.
Okay.
Or
that
or
could be cool.
Twitter, or what's
Threads.
the new Meta
Threads.
Twitter
Threads.
thing?
Yeah,
Threads. Yeah, we don't have Threads yet. Yeah.
Man, you're behind.
That's coming soon-ish, maybe. Question mark.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, and thank you for watching. Definitely connect with them, and we appreciate you guys.
Yes, thanks for having us.